Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome back to more of the Pokemon Stadium playthrough, or at least the Pokemon Stadium revisit anyway. Today, or rather this weekend, we're going to be taking on the other loose end that we have, the Pika Cup. And as you can tell from the levels, yeah, this is lower than even the Petite Cup, but there are some very specific rule sets for this cup, and I feel like the best way to start is just to go ahead and select and see what those are. So, Pika Cup. Enter with 6 Pokemon. Choose 3 out of 6 Pokemon. Levels 15 through 20. Maximum 3 Pokemon level total cannot exceed 50. No 2 Pokemon asleep or frozen. Mew cannot attend. Get a continue for a perfect match, and no self-destruct with last Pokemon. So this is very similar to the Petite Cup, with the only difference being the levels are smaller, but also there's no weight and height restriction, and there's no evolution restriction either, so Pokemon can evolve, and you can see some fully evolved forms in this cup. Basically, I guess the best way to describe it is, if there's a Pokemon you can get in Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow at level 15 through 20, regardless of the means, you can use them here. So, again, just to kind of show you the types of Pokemon that are available. Where is he? You can use Poliwrath, which may not make sense because, hey, wait a minute, Poliwag evolves into Poliwhirl at level 25, and then you have to use a Water Stone for Poliwrath. Well, technically I think you can catch a Poliwhirl at like level 20 or something, so because of that, it counts, and it also counts Poliwrath because it assumes that you can, you know, trade that level 20 Poliwhirl that you caught early and then turn into a Poliwrath then. Obviously, we have Pokemon like Alakazam in here. Yeah, with Geodude, I think this is a case where you cannot get Graveler at lower than like level 21, so because of that, Graveler's not here. But yeah, that's basically the rule set we're working with here. You can even get, like, yeah, you can get Gengar. Okay, you can't get Dragonair, which for some reason I thought you could catch like a really low-level Dragonair, but I guess not. I might be thinking of something else. But yeah, that's essentially the rule sets we're working with here. So, Pika Cup has more options than Petite Cup, but I feel like that almost makes it harder because you do kind of have to go with some of the evolved typings here, just because they have better movesets and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and once again choose my team here, and once I do, we're going to get started on what's probably going to be one of the hardest cups of this playthrough, so I'll see you guys then. Okay, I think I have my team here. I have Raichu, Poliwhirl, Arcanine, Kadabra, Exeggutor, and Lapras. You probably have a few questions. Why did I go with Kadabra and Poliwhirl and not their final forms? Purely due to moveset. For Poliwhirl, it was also due to the fact that Poliwhirl had more speed, and having better speed than Poliwrath, I think, was the clincher there. For Kadabra, it was mainly just the moveset, because he has Psychic compared to Psywave, which, yeah, Psywave, honestly, not that good. So yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable with this team. I think this team should take me pretty far. A lot of my slow Pokemon are the tanks, and then a lot of my fast Pokemon should have pretty good special to take out our opponents here. So yeah, let's go for it. Let's get this started. Okay, first up we have Bug Boy. Bug Boy, as expected, he has bugs, he has poison types. Not a very hard first opponent, I will say. So I'm actually going to bring Arcanine to this. I'm also going to bring... I guess I'll just bring my Psychic types. Well, I'll bring Kadabra, definitely. Yeah, I'll bring Exeggutor, too. This should be pretty simple, honestly. I don't foresee having any problems like this.
This is a tournament for passionate, young, up-and-coming Pokemon.
Okay, he's gonna start out with an Ekans. Ekans shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, this is another reason why I chose Arcanine. I mean, really solid moveset here. Got Ember. I mean, Ember's not great like Fire Blast or Flamethrower or anything. But honestly, you won't really be seeing Flamethrower on any of the Pokemon, I feel like. Flamethrower is usually a late learning move, as far as I'm concerned. I'm mainly excited about the Dig. I think the Dig is always a good investment on Arcanine, in my own honest opinion. It can take out some rogue types that you might be against. But let's just use Ember. We'll see how Ember does. I mean, it only has 36 HP. I don't imagine... Oh, well, it's going to critical hit anyway, so... It still didn't kill it, though. Yeah, we are technically at a point right now, though, where... Because of the low levels, don't expect things to do very much damage. Like, that was a stab critical hit. Oh, that wasn't stab. Oh yeah, it was stab. It just wasn't super effective, so it basically just did Ember's base damage times 2 with stab. And even then, like, Ekans probably had some special going for it anyway. This should do a lot better because Venonat is actually a bug type and not a poison type by itself. And even then, that didn't kill it, so... I guess a good way to explain it is kind of think of this like you're playing through a normal game of Pokemon. Like, just a standard game. We'll just go with Generation 1 in this case. We're essentially fighting trainers that are just now getting to the level of, I guess, Mount Moon levels. And even then, like, that's still even a little bit lower than normal. That's generally what we're going to be fighting in the Pika Cup. We're going to be fighting at the Mount Moon stage, I guess you could say. This should be very simple as well. So yeah, like, when you think of it from those lines, Pika Cup doesn't really seem that bad. Doesn't seem like it's going to be that hard. It's going to be very easy, but you also have to kind of think that there's a lot of things that could catch you off guard, and a lot of those things are just running into a Pokemon that you wouldn't expect to be here, and just having like a bad matchup at some point, which is guaranteed to happen. So you just have to really be on your toes and just be careful about how you proceed in each match. Here I was pretty confident because I knew that my team could handle it, but in the future matches, we'll see what happens. Okay, next up we have the Lad. We have Pidgeotto, Farfetch'd, Bellsprout, Ivysaur, Zubat, and Geodude. So he does have a bit of variety here. Seems to be a lot of flying types. Also has a rogue ground type. Also some grass and poison types. I think Kadabra might be the way to start out here. And then I'll bring Raichu, and then I'll also bring... I mean, I'm not really worried about... Actually, you know what? I should have started with Lapras. Because Lapras actually has the advantage over all of them. So yeah, let's start with Lapras, and then bring Kadabra and Raichu. Yeah, I think that's better.
Begin round 2.
And you see, there's always going to be those points where you kind of overthink something, and you think, oh, okay, well, this is the most logical move. But then, just like, you just overlook something. Like, right there, I overlooked the fact that I had an Ice type on my team, when an Ice and Water type, no less, which basically could take out all of this guy's Pokemon, no problem. Just funny things like that can happen, I suppose. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, an interesting aspect of the Pika Cup, especially when you start bringing in teams that you train by yourself on like your own respective Pokemon games, because you can really get some very interesting combos. And if you think about the fact that you can technically manipulate it so you have fully evolved Pokemon at like level 15, you could really use that to your advantage. Like Arcanine, you wouldn't think that, oh, Arcanine's in this cup, but technically it makes sense because, yeah, Growlithe is a Firestone evolution, so, or Arcanine is. Growlithe uses the Firestone to get to Arcanine. So because of that, yeah, Arcanine is fair game. I believe, actually I don't know if Starmie and Staryu, or Starmie is, because I don't know if you can get a Staryu early enough with those levels, but, you know, if you think about those types of Pokemon, then you should be good to go, honestly. And just as I was saying something about Staryu and Starmie, this guy does have a Staryu on his team, so maybe you can. Again, I don't know all the possibilities. I love Generation 1. I've spent the most time on Generation 1, but even I don't know all the intricacies here and there, so gotta cut me a little bit of slack, I think. He has a lot of water Pokemon, doesn't he? Well, I'll bring Raichu, I'll bring Executor, and I'll bring Kadabra, I guess.
Promising. We're into round 3.
So I was actually heavily debating using Pikachu instead of Raichu, because Pikachu did have Thunderbolt as opposed to Thunder, and I think that would have been a better payoff. Because Thunder is very, very inaccurate, but I should be okay. You can hit with Thunder, can't you, Raichu? Yeah, you can. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to use Thunder. I mean, I kind of tried to make this point in the Petite Cup, but because of the raw power of some of these moves, like, even when you take out the whole, like, stats consideration and the typing consideration, and it does like that full payload of damage. Like moves like Thunder and moves like Blizzard, Fire Blast, you name it, they'll be doing like the full HP load of damage anyway. For this, I'd say that's highly more likely in this cup as opposed to Petite Cup, just because the levels are smaller. Like, none of the Pokemon we've seen so far, except maybe like 1 or 2, have HP over 50. We've only seen like HP in the 40s and 30s, so these are not very powerful Pokemon at all. They're not very powerful. We'll use Seismic Toss as a guaranteed kill right here. Remember, Seismic Toss is basically the Nightshade of fighting moves, where it does the HP of your level. So in this case, Raichu will always do 15 HP of damage, so when you get that low, you can pretty much just use that and be guaranteed the victory. No problem. Oh, and I really hate doing this. I really do. This is exponentially sad, but... Oh, he actually lives. Good old Poliwrath. I love Poliwrath. You guys knew that already, though. You guys knew how much of a Poliwrath fan I am. I can't help it. Poliwrath is just so cute. I love its, like... It really reminds me of me, because as you guys know, I'm a very, I'm kind of a chunky individual. He has these, like, little stubby arms, but, like, he still has some power behind those arms, too. Fully capable of doing the damage when you need it done. And that's what I like about Poliwrath. Well, Poliwrath, are you ready for this? I hope so, because we have fire and ground types. We also have a rogue psychic type over there, but I think we can handle that if we're careful. Yeah, I'll bring Poliwhirl, I'll bring Lapras, and I'll also bring Arcanine, I suppose. Yeah, because Arcanine does have Dig. That'll do some decent damage. And then he'll also should resist Drowsy enough anyway.
Is building. This is round 4.
Wait, hold on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the hell happened, but my captures card started glitching out majorly, so I stopped recording. And because of that, I did miss the first attack of this. But basically, I used Surf, and then Ninetales used a different move. And this is basically the result of that attack. I almost KO'd Ninetales, but unfortunately I do have another hit to give out, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let's continue. Okay, yeah, Ninetales used Body Slam. And it paralyzed me. Ooh. Thankfully, I still get the Surf off. I might actually opt to switch right here. Just because if I want to get a perfect, I need to keep Poliwhirl alive. So that might be in my best interest to try to keep Poliwhirl strong. And immediately going from Ninetales to Vulpix. I'm not sure if that's a great play, but you know, it's if that's what this trainer is comfortable with, they can go ahead and do that.
Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon.
So I'm gonna bring out Lapras. What? Oh, damn it! I pressed the wrong button. Okay, well, I mean Arcanine works too. We're gonna resist all these attacks, and I'm just gonna use Dig. But yeah, I meant to switch to Lapras. Whoops. That's okay. We'll just use this attack, and then I don't think we're gonna knock Vulpix out because we're not gonna get the stab effect from it, unfortunately. But with the crit, it's gonna be more likely we'll one-shot it. So there you go. And it's a shame because Vulpix really wanted to give that Tail Whip on me, but was unable to, which is kind of a shame. Okay, so as I expected, yeah, this trainer did bring the Drowsy, which is kind of good. I'm trying to think of which would be better here, Dig or Ember. I think Dig. The thing about Drowsy, and just the Drowsy family in general, in Gen 1 anyway, they have some bulk to them. They're the most bulky psychic types. As a result, their special is generally lower than other psychic types, and their speed for that matter. But they're still no slouch when it comes to, like, bringing in the pain either. And because special is all one stat in this game, psychic moves will still hurt quite a bit.
Fireworks are flying in this battle.
But I think we got this. Just gonna use Dig again.
The underground attack continues. What'll it do? Oh, the attack missed. Neither one is conceding an inch.
And there we go.
Savage attack. Severe hit.
So yeah, even with the paralysis and the heavy damage on Poliwhirl, we still got a perfect. And honestly, it was probably a better idea to take out Arcanine as opposed to Lapras. Because, I mean, Lapras is part water and ice, not just ice, so I'm not going to take a lot of damage from fire attacks, but still, just to be safe and play the better percentages, I guess. So we are halfway through the Pika Cup, and this has actually been going pretty smoothly so far. I am happy about that. And here we have Mr. Fix. Mr. Fix has electric types and, well, mostly electric types. Has a rogue Porygon, Mankey, and Kingler in there, but, you know, aside from that, ground types are probably going to be the way to go. Honestly, I could see Executor being really good here. For all the Psychics to use against, well, actually, I don't think... What does Executor have again? Oh, he has Psywave. I thought he had Psychic, but I guess not. Well, even then, Mega Drain shouldn't be too bad, I guess. And, yeah, he does have the Stain potential, too, so I can see Executor being pretty good for this. I do not want to bring Lapras and Poliwhirl, so it's just between the other ones. May just go for Executor, Kadabra, and Raichu. I don't have any, like, super effective moves against the electric types, but honestly I should be fine with just the raw power anyway, so we'll do that.
Things will get white hot. Begin round 5.
And see, this way we also avoid the likelihood of getting matched our Kadabra, or not Kadabra, our Arcanine with the Kingler, so I think this was a good call. Okay, so we have Porygon here. I almost feel like using Toxic on it. But we'll just go straight for a Mega Drain and see what it does. I'm surprised Executor is actually faster than Porygon. I guess you could say Porygon's computer systems are not up and running. Also, it has Ice Beam. I was actually not expecting that, so that's going to be a bit of a pain. How much did that do? That did about 28 damage. I could survive. With Mega Drain, I'll definitely survive, unless I get, like, crit or frozen, which is a very real possibility in this. Let's be real here. I'll go ahead and use Toxic on it, though. Yeah, look at all that purple stuff. Okay, he is going to use Ice Beam again. And it's a critical hit, of course it is. Oh my god. But yeah, like, you have to think about that stuff. You have to think about what you're doing and also realize that, oh right, the enemy can just as easily get critical hits, just like I can. It's a very real possibility, and it happens way more than you think it would, so you gotta keep that stuff in mind. So I'm gonna bring out Kadabra here. Kadabra has some good moves. Well, honestly, Psychic's really the only great move that he has, I'd say. Metronome could be good, but, you know, there's a high chance it won't be good, too, so you have to always think about that. Wow, he's also using the Psychic. But because of Kadabra's special, that is not going to do very much. So we'll just use Seismic Toss to finish this and move on to the next one. Honestly, this could be a really rough fight, now that I think about it. That Porygon did actually kind of surprise me with that Ice Beam. Which it really shouldn't have, because Porygon is one of those Pokemon that can learn a lot of moves. And a lot of moves you wouldn't think of, just because you're like, hey, Porygon, who cares? But no, that's the wrong outlook to have whenever you're doing Pokemon battles. You should never be thinking, oh, they can't do anything, because chances are, yeah, they can actually do some stuff to you, if you're not careful. Thankfully, it looks like Kingler does not have a lot of special, but he does have Body Slam, which does knock out Kadabra. And this is actually not great for me, because all I have left is Raichu. I have a backup,
Raichu.
kind of, with Raichu.
It's one Pokemon against
I'm gonna just
two
use
now.
Seismic Toss to finish this up. I do have Thunder Wave, but it's a very high probability that he's gonna bring out an electric type, so
Goodness.
I don't think that's gonna help me much.
It's down.
If he brings out Mankey, though, yes, I'm gonna use the Thunder Wave on him. Wow, he has the Mankey. But see, here's also the problem. Mankey is also a really fast Pokemon, so... And fast Pokemon tend to get critical hits very often in the first gen, so... I'm wondering if I should just Thunder and hope it works. I'd be taking the same risk either way, even with Thunder Wave, so... I'm gonna press both buttons at the same time.
What's the matter, trainer?
I'm gonna leave it to fate. I go first and I get the Thunder. Do I land it? It works, okay. Fate is what I needed. Man, that was really risky. And see, here's the thing. If I would have used Thunder Wave, I could have paralyzed it, but it could have got the attack through, and if it was like a really powerful karate chop, then I would have been screwed. So, I think that was a good call.